Hello and welcome to the first episode of Pride and Politics, looking at the multiple level of politics from the world to society, to local community, and even to family. We'll be looking at and talking to those who are involved and interested in politics to dig deep into the debate and issues that matter. Most importantly, we want to involve you, the LB24 audience, to hear your views and understand what matters to you. Politics is sometimes seen as a bad or complex word, but I want to bring a new perspective. I want to focus on what is good, share learning on the history and background issues, talking to inspirational individuals, support positive debate about what needs to be improved, look at how we get more people, including the younger generation, involved in politics, and how we can work together to achieve and bring pride back into politics. We'll be focusing on a range of topics from Trump to Brexit to local election in May, to family and society issues and even politics and religion. Today, we're delving into the world of independent politics in Tower Hamlet, a world which is almost exclusively Bangladeshi, to discuss where this movement came from and where it's going. Welcome to Pride and Politics. Thank you for joining me. On my right, I have Zakaria Hussain, Rasuddin from PATH. On my left, I have Sabia Kamali and Fazle Elahi from Tower Hamlets independent groups. Right. Thank you for joining
Thank you.
LB24, Pride and Politics. Let me start from Fazle Elahi. I understand you are prospective candidate for Tower Hamlets independent group.
Yes,
Let me take you back to 4th September 2010 when Lutfur Rahman was chosen as from Labour Party member to be the Labour candidate for Mayor of Tower Hamlet. How did you feel about this?
I'm actually glad you've asked that question because that was the first time I could ever vote. I was 20 years old.
That's really interesting. Okay. So you're very young then.
It was quite significant to me. My family have always kind of been involved in the community in terms of aiding the community in any way possible. And I actually remember that very day. That day we were in Cambridge Road outside the Hamlets Labour Party headquarters, and I went to cast my vote. It's the very first time I could ever vote. So I think it was a significant moment, not just for the community, but to myself as well. And I think it was very much needed in order to kind of make Tower Hamlets a great place. It's something that I believe all of us have aspired to one day, and for that to happen in 2010 in our lifetime is a great achievement. So, yeah.
How about Sabia Kamali? How old were you then? No, I shouldn't go for the age. Sorry, my mistake. No,
well,
how did you feel when
I was much older than Elahi during that time? It was because
it wasn't your first vote, though.
Of course not. Of course not. I mean, I actually came from New Hampshire campaign when the actual whole thing against Lutfur Rahman happens, and I'm sure everyone is aware, so there's no need to go into it. It was a great achievement. It was.
We had the whole community.
Of course we did, because it was an attack on the
involved.
community. It was about discrimination. It was about racism, and it wasn't just the Bangladeshi community that was affected. It was the whole community who stood against injustice, and I think it was a big achievement from the community to go against the whole mainstream and actually elect someone that the community wanted themselves. So yes.
Well, that leads me to the next question. I mean, that whole choosing Lutfur Rahman from the Bangladeshi community, it was really exciting. The emotion was there, but that was very short-lived. Very soon after that, they deselected him. and then obviously he had to fight for trying to stand for as an independent independent candidate. Was that the right move for him to do so at that time?
Well, when he got elected as an independent mayor. That the internal battle was between him and Halal Abbas, but that was when they were in Labour. But when they did that injustice against him, that's when he left the party and he stood as an independent person. So he was elected as an independent mayor. He wasn't
No, first he stood as candidate, mayoral candidate from the Labour, and then they deselected him, and then he stood as an independent, and that's when the actual movement started. So was he right to do so, to stand as an independent during that time?
Of course, the whole community supported him. He was actually, in fact, I think it's gone down as history as one of the biggest achievements for Bangladeshi in London, because for someone to actually come out from the mainstream party, stand independently and get the support from the wider community, not just the Bangladeshi community, the larger, wider community from other parties on the left, it shows a huge achievement. And by him becoming an independent mayor, it actually showed the whole community supported that decision. So yes, it was the right decision.
Let me throw this question at you.
Well, it was a very important step. It was a historical step, obviously. At that time, we needed somebody who can lead the borough. And yeah, he was clearly the best choice for that. Nobody's denying that. The achievements since then have been good. Nobody, again, is denying that. It's just that there's nothing further for me to say on this subject moving forward. At that time, yes, the borough had we stood up against injustice. It was injustice. Lutful Bhai was victimised from the Labour Party, in my opinion. But what I would like to point out, and I know we're going to be discussing this a bit later, but since it's to me, I think Rabina Khan is being victimised at the moment from the independent group.
She was part of the independent group.
Well, it's the same policy. I think it's happening. If you're moving further down the line, the vote in 2010, in my opinion, from the borough was a very emotional one. It was an emotional one because the whole borough came together because we saw an injustice.
Don't you reckon it's emotional now as well because it's being, as you say, she's being victimised?
Well, since then, I think there's been, obviously, in terms of the administration itself, the previous administration and some of the key players, some things have come to light since then, obviously. And now, it's not, I don't think it is an emotional response again now because Rabina Khan...
How could you say it's an emotional response? Because Lutful Khan got re-elected again.
Lutful Rahman.
Sorry.
You should know the name.
Yeah. Well, it makes no difference. I mean, the fact of the matter is he got re-elected. So therefore, from his achievement, it was shown that he can achieve it. The community were happy with him, and hence why he was re-elected.
But you've never heard, did you hear me say anything to the contrary right now? I didn't say anything like that.
You said it was an emotional support.
I said his achievement.
Emotional.
I said the 2010 election was an emotional response.
Can we do?
I did not say the 2014.
Can we
was
do
an
something? You've had a chance to speak. Let him have a chance to speak, or else we're going to be shouting.
No. Listen. So I said the 2010 was an emotional response. I never said anything about 2014. 2014, of course, he was re-elected because of his skill, his achievements, and what he achieved during that 4 years. 2010 we're talking about. We can come to 2014 later. 2010, yes, it was a historical decision. He was the very first British Bangladeshi Muslim mayor.
And he did get the support from all of these independent candidates.
Yes. That was a historical achievement, and nobody can deny that.
Can I just, what do you reckon was his main achievement during that time?
Well,
I can think of one straight away, but you know.
Well, I'd like to ask you, Mizan, what is the main achievement?
I think one thing he managed to do is unite the whole community.
Okay.
You know, that's the one major achievement I can see from my side. But I'm sure from as being, you know, prospective candidates from independent, although your, path has separated.
But it's not separated. It's just a different sort of
opinion.
No opinion for me.
It's not an opinion.
Sorry, it's a factual thing. Like, anyone's got any right to stand. Anyone can fall under any party banner that they want. We happen to stand as People's Alliance of Town Hamlets, and
I'll come to that point. Why there is a split later on?
There's not a split. Like me, him, these young people. You know, we've never been part of any defection or anything. We've chosen to be what side we're on. So I think it's important to actually realise there is no split we've knowingly, informatively made a choice, and it's based on the best competencies, and we believe we're on the right path.
I think what Mizan was trying to say is that we were all one group before.
I don't know about we. I was not part.
Okay.
The
I'll address this.
Like,
this
when we talk
point
about we,
I'll address this point.
Me, Ras,
I'm
you guys.
trying to go back into a bit of a history, as in a sense, where how we came to strive and struggle as a one community and came to where we are now, and because of there's a rift, and because there's from where we are standing is seeing that there is a rift, and hence what we can see, especially if we are thinking about Bangladeshi vote in this case, it's going to be a major split, and we have only 32% of Bangladeshi community in Hamlet borough, and if there's a split, then what is the chance of having a successful mayoral candidate from Bangladeshi side? And that's the worry for a lot of the viewers. I think
for me, we need to understand that this isn't Bangladesh. This is Tower Hamlets, and we're talking about votes. It's not just the Bengalis that vote. No,
I'm coming to that. Then I'm going to... the point I'm going to address is when we're talking... When Lutfur Rahman stood, he stood as a British Bangladeshi, right? And he managed to mobilize a percentage, 1/3 of the vote, quite quickly, and he managed to win because of those votes. Let's not deny that.
No, but I think it's also not just about Lutfur Rahman, it's about the whole team you had at the time.
Absolutely.
And the credibility. Yeah. So it's not just about Lutfur Rahman. Yes, you might be the face of everything, but there's people who were there within that movement from long before, and also the achievements that we talk about with Lutfur Rahman. It was a whole administration where people who were given certain responsibilities and excelling in them.
Let me just throw this to Fazle Elahi. Right? What do you reckon, apart from one of the achievements which I mentioned, what do you reckon was his major achievement during his administration?
Of course, you mentioned the biggest one was uniting everyone. But I think the biggest achievement was the fact that someone from a socially deprived background, someone that was raised in the borough of Hamlet, someone that studied in school, in both schools, someone that went to college here, went to university, made it up the ranks, someone who's done his law degree, pursued his career, and then got into politics for the sake of the community. That in itself, the fact that he came from the grassroots level, he was kind of literally his whole life he spent pretty much in Tower Hamlets. So the fact that someone can come from a socially deprived background, from a materially deprived background, and stand up against the establishment, and as you mentioned as well, unite the community for the betterment of the community, I feel as if that was one of the probably biggest achievements anybody has done in a long time. And I find it hard to believe that someone would surpass it.
Can I, now you have said that, what was his failures? Because of those failures, I'll say, there's a rift. What do you reckon, or could be,
Well, no, nobody's perfect. In terms of failures, I guess certain things perhaps could have been improved in terms of maybe the people you work with. Of course, we're all aware there's a split now. So perhaps he got close to the wrong people, or the wrong people got close to him, and have now decided to think otherwise and form their own group, for instance. That could be an example.
I'm really sorry.
So that could be an example.
Can I say something, please? We're talking about this current election, yeah? I know we're talking about history. No, we're talking about the history.
We are not talking about the current election. We're talking about the independent group as itself.
Okay, independent group as itself. Okay.
Can we confirm? Is it you asked me a question, I respond, or is there no?
No.
How are we doing this?
Because I think there's things that you're saying which are not factual. Like, you were not there to say anything yes or no, nor was I. I think for me, when we talk about successes of...
Would you like to respond after the best way?
Let's just be factual and keep it to the point.
Let's kind of stick to
Let's not say anything which is not true.
Let's try and practice it.
If you believe this is not factual, then you can come.
Yeah, but I know. But I think it's very important to actually highlight where things are wrong, not to give it that space.
Okay, can I talk?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, so you mentioned what we feel he could have been improved. So as Zach rightly mentioned, Tower Hamlets is made up of Bangladeshis, but not just Bangladeshis, Somalians, black, people from Africa, Caribbean, English people from all sorts of backgrounds. And you're right, there is 35% of Tower Hamlets is BME, black and ethnic minority. I feel as if any group, it's always good to kind of reach out to all. No, not saying that Lutfur Rahman didn't, but one or two may have had the perception that he was trying to look after the Bengali community, which I totally disagree with, because I was, kind of helping out, kind of involved one or another as a local person, as a local resident. So I've seen my friends, for instance, got younger brothers. I've got friends who are non-Bengali. They've got younger brothers that went to college, for instance, and that received the Mayor's Education Award. Now that's something that's quite significant. I'll mention it because I used to get EMA myself. Back in 2010, I used to get £30 a week. Yes, you might think £30 a week is not much, but the fact of the matter is, when he brought back the Mayor's Education Award, £400 provided to students to attend college, to help them with books and resources and stuff like that, that wasn't just to Bangladeshis or Somalis or Muslims, that was to all sections of the community.
I think we all saw that. I think that's the flagship of Lutfur Rahman, what had been advocated throughout his campaign. But that was short-lived as well. In 2015, we know what happened. It has been all over the newspaper, and we have seen what took place. Let's not go into detail about that. But on the other hand, we see that Councillor Rubina Khan at that time stood as a mayoral candidate alongside with John Biggs from Labour. She lost, I believe, with a very narrow margin.
Yes.
4,000 votes.
4,000 votes?
7,000, 26,000 she got, and Biggs got 33,000.
Why?
It's the first preference votes, which was
Yes,
but it still counts.
Zachariah, I believe you were voting at that time. Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
Yeah, you were?
Yeah.
Okay. So you're not that old then. I mean, that
I'm,
young.
my birthday just went, so it's quite confusing
Okay.
now.
Why do you think John Biggs actually won that particular election and not Rubina Khan? I mean, I believe there were people, the whole independent group was behind Rubina Khan. Why couldn't she win?
I don't think the whole independent group was behind Rubina. For me personally, I voted for Rubina because she's my ward councillor, and she's the most competent. And the name mentioned, Lutfur Rahman endorsed him himself. The independent group councillors endorsed Rubina. They stood outside polling stations, they did the campaigning and worked for the right candidate. And I think last time round, the election was spoiled by certain elements, which I'm not aware of. But ultimately for me, politics, when you go back to 2010, I wasn't interested. Do you see where I'm coming from? It's only up until recently when I realised there needs to be an actual change. We all stand here not to defend Lutfur Rahman or whatever party we're from. We stood as candidates in this election to get the new blood in. We are the next generation. We respect everyone that paved the way before us. And before Lutfur Rahman, when there were the Skinners and the neo-Nazis, there was the Bangladeshi Federation of Youth Organisations who actually set up the first political movement. So to actually say that Lutfur Rahman is the only person to come out of this concrete jungle is not what it is. I am a success of this environment. I've been on both sides. But for me to be a young Bangladeshi British man, to work with young people, to actually make a difference, to give us a positive name and our religion, which unites everybody and serves humanity, it's about the key things that we're discussing. And the things about 2010 and why voting for Rubina. For me, the reason why I voted for Rubina was because she was my ward councillor. And she was always there.
My question was not that.
Yeah. Okay,
what actually led John Biggs to win?
I think, can I answer the
It's
question?
been spoiled.
Can I answer?
Go on.
I think the reason John Biggs won, first of all, we've got to understand that the whole campaign after the debacle of the administration, after that imploded, Rubina herself only had 6 to 8 weeks to plan the campaign. Now, to plan a campaign as big as a mayoral election in Tower Hamlets with 6 weeks to spare and grabbing 27,000 votes is an achievement on its own. Yeah. That's the first thing. Second thing, why did John Biggs win? John Biggs won because there was a collective, there was a collective conspiracy, if you want a better word, from all the other political parties in Tower Hamlets and every other person who was politically engaged. They formed a group to actually ensure that the second preference votes went to somebody else. Yeah. That was the whole. And the reasoning behind that is because the Lutfur Rahman and his group, they couldn't build the political bridges that was required. I mean, yes, he united the borough. I'm not denying that whatsoever. But the sad thing is, he couldn't unite inside the council chamber. Constantly there was fighting. Constantly there was disagreements. And that is something that can't happen. You need to have a bipartisan relationship within the council chamber to actually achieve something. The other thing, the brother mentioned, he was talking about Lutfur Bhai's personal achievements. We are not qualified to discuss Lutfur Bhai's personal achievement. That's his personal achievements. What was his biggest achievement when he was in office? And the only one, in my opinion, that comes up, and I think it comes up all the time in Tower Hamlets, was the fact that he made a pledge through his colleague, Rubina Khan, to deliver 4,000 new homes.
And they did that.
And who was the person who led that? That was Rabina Khan. That's the biggest
Can I
achievement that
can I
I can
come in
actually
on that?
highlight.
Can we have the time to actually say something?
I'll come
I'm
to
okay
you.
to come in on this.
Yeah.
Thank you for raising that. I understand, and Rabina Khan was the cabinet
Sorry,
member.
before I
for
come
housing.
to you, can I just let
Yeah.
our viewers know? Dear viewers, you can actually call in to LB24 office on 0208 1234 507. You can comment on our Facebook or Twitter, and we'll try to answer your questions. Thank you. Please.
So yeah, again, so thank you for mentioning Rabina Khan's achievements when she was the cabinet member for housing and regeneration between 2010 to 2014. Now,
15.
well, yes, fine, 15 again for a few months, I guess. Now, in terms of her being a cabinet member, yes, she did take lead on that. She wasn't ultimately responsible for delivering the 5,000 homes, the 5,580 homes that were delivered in Tower Hamlets.
She was
Ultimately-
responsible because it's her name on the title.
Ultimately, the executive mayor has the decision, and he or she signs that, authorizes that. So yes, she can have an input, but I would not agree to say she was the main
Are you
person.
I would
telling-
say downplaying the
Now-
input.
Hold on,
that
hold on,
word
hold
is
on, hold
the
on,
input.
hold
It wasn't
on,
her input.
hold on, one
It
second.
was her lead. That
Yeah,
actually
she's a
made
lead.
the
She
achievement
doesn't
happen.
decide on
But
which
she
way
doesn't.
to
She
go.
Again,
doesn't have
but
executive. That's
We're
what
not,
she's
why are
not-
we
she's not
discussing
executive-
quibbling over? I'm not saying she has the executive power.
Because you're making
Of
it
course.
seem as if it's just
No,
her
no,
that did
nobody's
it. And I'm trying
denying
to say,
the fact. Again,
ultimately,
you're
it wasn't her. It was
I think
also
what you need to
the
misinterpreting what
is-
I've said. Excuse me. You're misinterpreting what I said. I'm not denying the achievements of Lutful Bhai. I'm not at all. He was the mayor, of course, under his administration. My question is, who was the person that delivered? The person that delivered under his administration was Rabina Khan.
And look for Rahman, such a smart guy
That's what I'm
to
trying
put
to make
Rabina
out.
in charge of
I'm
this
not saying it doesn't diminish
foremost pledge.
his side of it, saying that he's the mayor. Of course he's the
He
mayor.
made the right choice. He gave the right
But
person
he
to do
made
the
the right choice. He made
right
Rabina
person.
in charge of that project.
And that was
she
ticked off.
delivered.
And these
I think boiling
Yeah,
down
and
to what I was saying, was she the right candidate?
100%.
You're saying that following her achievement from previous
Of course.
administration, she was.
If Lutful Rahman endorsed Rabina herself, if all the independent group supporters came out for Rabina herself, and Rabina stood in 6 weeks, and people like myself, like I said to you, were never invested in politics, but based on her character, her achievements, and her need for the
I
community
think
to
what you
succeed.
guys fail to understand.
No, no, but I'm
those
speaking
votes,
now.
sorry, those votes weren't Rubina's alone. It was a team's vote.
Did you get my vote from Lutful Rahman's name? I'm telling you right now, you did not. I voted for Rabina and my family
That's
and
just
people.
you.
No.
You can't speak on behalf of the rest of the town.
How can you speak
that's
for me?
not- hold on,
How can you speak for
no,
me?
what I'm
You're
saying
making the
is
Bangladeshi
that-
vote into one vote.
Sorry,
It's not
one
Bangladesh
second.
that only voted for
Russ,
Taha.
hold on,
Hold
on.
Can I just
We
say?
haven't
No,
met
can-
before.
can-
No,
Zach,
wait,
can-
one second.
Let me just
One
understand.
second.
Let me
'Cause
just
I need to address
sorry,
this.
sorry,
Go on.
one second.
Hang on.
Right? I think during that time, 2015, it was Rubina who stood.
Yeah.
Right?
Should
They
do this?
people, whoever voted during that time, they voted Rubina.
Yeah,
They voted independent group.
that's right.
Yes,
Right?
they voted
So
for team.
that's what it is. They did
Yes.
not vote Lutful. They did not vote anyone else. Am I right to say
Yes.
that?
Yeah,
Right.
with
So-
Rabina as its leader,
and-
candidate.
No, it was an
of-
independent
With
group.
Rabina as its candidate.
It doesn't matter. It was a group vote,
You're not understanding what you're
Right.
talking
Still not
about.
getting the point.
Okay.
like you
Please.
do.
Okay.
I do understand
No,
because, like
no,
I said,
no,
you,
it's
no,
not
Mizan,
more
man.
than by one
I-
second.
one
What's
second.
that?
I think
Sorry,
we need to
what I
address
needed
something.
was-
Sister, one
so-
second.
My vote was
2010.
secured by Rabina
Can
Khan.
we have one
not-
person
listen.
talking?
Okay,
Right, make
fine.
it a lot easier.
But that's
Right.
just you, not Taha.
No, no.
Hamlets. Not
Okay, you
anyone.
can't
Excuse
speak
me,
for me.
excuse me.
I'm
I'm
not
not speaking for you.
Khan.
I'm not speaking for you.
Zach,
I think
Sabia,
that's
Sabia,
what
Sabia,
you
Zach,
understand.
Zach,
Wait,
excuse me.
What happened?
Hold on.
Sorry, Mizan.
Like, let me just say this.
2010,
I think
you're saying 2010 was Lutful Bhai, he broke the mold, it was him on his own. But 2015, it wasn't Rabina who did it,
It was
it was
Lutful
the
Rahman
team.
again.
But hang on, there is a
Why is that double standard happening?
No, there is a difference. Lutful stepped out from Labour Party. He stood on his own with the backing
So
of
did
the,
Rabina.
with
She-
the backing of
after the
community.
injustice, she
Rabina
came out as well.
stood
So did
on
many
the-
councillors who
Rabina
left the Labour
stood
fold to go
on
and
the
support
back
Lutful
of
Rahman. He
Lutful
wasn't him by himself. And I think
the achievement of the team.
okay,
So
you
it
guys.
wasn't her own achievements.
No, it's
Well,
not.
I think
we're not
we
the
are
one who's
talking about the
saying
same thing, but in a different way,
Okay,
right?
look,
Instead of
let's-
twisting, the fact of the matter is, during that time,
It
it's
was
very
Rabina
clear.
Khan.
Rubina Khan stood as from the independent group,
Yeah.
right, for the mayor, and she, as her title, she got those
27,000 votes. And
votes.
this time round,
But obviously, there was a team behind it. There
Yeah.
was a group behind
There
it.
was the public.
If we see in Labour Party, if we see Jeremy wins the election, Jeremy is the name, but people behind it, us public who
we're
voted,
there.
voted,
It's a
or
team.
it's a team. That's you just have to think of those merit during that particular time frame, right? My question to you is, she lost by, you were saying, about 4,000 votes,
whatever many votes,
right? Whatever votes.
7,000.
Was there anything else that she could have done that would have made,
I think if she had time to actually show the leadership that she has got in them 6 weeks, and now she's had a longer period, this time round she will win the mayoralty. Because it's not about Lutful Rahman, it's Rabina Khan versus Ohid Ahmed. You guys have come as prospective candidates for your group, and you haven't even mentioned Ohid Ahmed once. So that goes to show the belief that you have in him. Secondly, I like to say something about this Bengali vote in terms of, I'm being very clear to all the viewers. My route is in the grassroots and the community. The community has to come first, hence why I'm standing. I'm not standing because of Lutful Rahman, I'm standing because of Rabina. I believe in Rabina to be the best mayoral candidate, but I will become a councillor for my people. That's my job. When it comes down to now this election and what we are standing for, Lutful Rahman is irrelevant. Bless him, he's done a lot of good that he's done, but he cannot stand in this election. He could not stand the last election. He selected Rabina Khan.
I agree.
In regards to now her moving forward, and is she the right candidate and is she going to win? The woman has so much potential. Lutful Rahman himself saw it and he picked her. So why would I now settle for something which he has?
Can I jump in on this? So you
if I can get more than 2 minutes to say something before someone opposes me, I think that'll be quite nice. We're talking about how she's going to win this time round, yeah? This woman has had success after success after success. I want someone like her.
Are we okay to hear these successes?
If I'm telling you right now, okay, my success is for her. The fact that the woman's a writer and that she's a mother. I have a mother who sacrificed.
That's not a success.
So she's a success because Sabia Kamal is a mother.
No, that's fine. Can I explain something? Can I explain something? Maybe the language is wrong where I'm coming from. I have a sister at home. I have a mother who sacrificed everything for me and my siblings to get to where they want. I can respect that.
I thought we're not trying to make it personal.
No, it's not personal.
Listen to my point.
No. You're trying to find points to attack me based on my comments. I'm not spouting the achievements.
I'm talking about, can I start with the achievements? She's a writer, okay? She's a writer. I think she can lead the next generation. She can bring about equality for everybody in terms. She's part of the European Diversity Award winner. She led on these houses that have housed our community. She's the opposition in the council. I don't see Ohid Ahmed speaking up.
Right, now can I
there's another councillor.
It's been 2 minutes, right?
She speaks. Secondly, when it comes to statistics, the fact that she's got the credibility behind her.
And I'm trying to not jump in. Can I speak now?
I'll come to you. There's been inundated
let's go to it.
Question on Facebook.
Because I wanted to respond to, he made quite a few points. It'd be quite nice to respond.
I'll give you the floor in seconds. Right.
She'll be the first
women
Muslim mayor.
Bangladeshis in Tower Hamlets needs to Zach.
Yeah.
There have been a lot of questions which we are having, the discussion and debate that we're having. Bangladesh in Tower Hamlet needs to keep their differences aside and come together for the betterment of our community and unity, right? Which is
Bangladeshis in Tower Hamlets need to,
needs to keep their differences aside. Whatever differences, right, and come together. Right, that's one brother said,
very
right?
valid point.
What is well done for, nothing hasn't discussed yet, nor any message for the community. So we'll come to the messages that community. I'm just going to roughly go through a couple of them.
I think it's good that everyone's interested in this.
There are a lot of questions come through, but I'm just going to roughly read a couple of them. There's one for Ohid. Ohid Ahmed is capable. He held resources, regeneration, education, and almost every single cabinet portfolio in Tower Hamlet. Okay. I'm sure you can feed me into that. I'll take more questions later on. But I think I'll give you your 1 minute floor for which I.
So you made quite a few points, Zach. You mentioned
I didn't finish my points.
Well, you had about 5 minutes. I'm sorry if that's not long enough. But if I'd like to have a couple of minutes, that'd be quite nice. So you made quite a few points in the 5 minutes that you've had. You've mentioned why Ohid Ahmed's name hasn't been mentioned yet as a mayoral candidate. I don't blame you. I don't blame myself. The questions which our host has asked hasn't had Ohid Ahmed's names mentioned in it. For some reason, it's been about Lutful Rahman Rabina Khan. So you don't blame me for not adding.
You should know that your
mayoral candidate is. Now I'm going to mention Ohid Ahmed. So you're talking about Rabina Khan's achievement, and the best that I got was that she's a writer and she's a mother. But you didn't let me finish.
So
in terms of her political career, let's talk about political career.
Like I said to you, I don't know much about politics.
Sorry, I'm talking, Zach. I'll let you talk now.
What you need to understand is.
So Ohid Ahmed, the councillor since 2002. I'm not taking. It's my turn to talk. Please let me talk. Councillor Ohid Ahmed, who was a councillor since 2002. Yeah, that's a long, very, very long time. He's held cabinet positions in every single term that he's worked. He was also a deputy mayor in 2010, and he was deputy mayor from 2010 to 2014. All right. Whilst he was the deputy mayor, he was also the cabinet member for community safety. In terms of community safety, he's led on many initiatives like Dealer a Day, for instance. For example, we know in Tower Hamlets, one of the biggest problems you have is drug dealing. What Councillor Oid Ahmed did was, he sat down with the borough commander, he tasked the Metropolitan Police in Tower Hamlets. He said to them, look, collectively, we need to catch at least one drug dealer every single day. What happened? If they had the target of catching 365, they caught almost 400. That drastically, significantly reduced drug dealing in Tower Hamlets. That's just one of the things he's done or led on whilst he was a cabinet member for community safety. If you talk about police officers, he brought in 41 extra police officers in Tower Hamlets alone to tackle and manage and reduce the crime levels in the area. Unfortunately, the current administration, the current mayor, he sacked 34 of them in his April budget in April 2016. Although Councillor Oid Ahmed proposed an alternative budget, it got rejected. Anyway, in regards to Councillor Oid Ahmed's achievements, which is what I'm talking about, he also brought in Tower Hamlets enforcement officers.
Who are useless.
Well, do you know why they're useless? Because there are not many of them around. That's why you probably don't see them.
No,
Thanks
useless.
to our current mayor.
No.
Anyway, so
you're saying
in
something
terms of
which
Tower
is
Hamlets enforcement,
gimmicky.
Let me finish, please. In terms of Tower Hamlets enforcement officers, they were brought in to reduce antisocial behaviour around the borough. So they would drive around in the vans. You might have seen with the high-vis jackets and everything. So they'd work very closely with the police to reduce like noise nuisance, ASB. So there might be boys sitting on stairwells, whatever, getting good, for instance. They were going to reduce ASB and antisocial behaviour. Unfortunately, you're right, they're useless. Mate, why are they useless? You probably don't see them, that's probably why. You can't blame Oid Ahmed for that, blame John Biggs for that, for getting rid of most of them. That's just something I mentioned. I can go on and on.
Can I say this? You talk about antisocial behaviour. Antisocial behaviour is a very broad thing. You don't know the reasons why antisocial behaviour exists. Antisocial behaviour is the root cause caused by a lack of space for people to entertain at home. If a family is living 6 people in a 1-bedroom flat, where is the young males meant to go? So they hang out on street corners. Rubina Khan has housed how many thousands of homes?
Like I said, 4,000.
You can say so. No. She's
Rubina Khan, or do you mean the administration? How can you say Rubina Khan? Rubina Khan.
Can we just be mindful?
You can say Rubina Khan led on. You can't say she housed. What did she physically give them houses? Or you take this house, you take that. How does that make sense?
Let him say what you want to say.
I can say whatever I want to say, and I'm speaking from experience. I'm a youth worker by trade. Antisocial behaviour you talk about is not good. No. Okay. There's no need for that tone, because I'm telling you from my experience.
He's talking about tone.
From my experience, as a youth worker who has got direct access to families, which you haven't had any access, and the suffering that you've seen in these communities, most people are very happy in my ward because Rubina Khan went out of her way to get happy for house. Right. Let me talk about antisocial behaviour. Antisocial behaviour. I'm going to tie into this point. It's a successes. Antisocial behaviour is not going to be caused by police. It's not going to be fixed by police either. When you need to talk about antisocial behaviour, it's about the root causes. Where are the safe spaces? Where are the opportunities for people to entertain at home? You talk about Oid Ahmed now, yeah? No, I'm speaking still. If you talk about Oid Ahmed, we spent 15 minutes at the beginning of this programme talking about Lutful Rahman. You didn't have even the dignity to even mention your leader's name. You were talking about
Lutful Rahman was the leader of the previous administration.
In terms of... So we're going back.
Sabi, you're going to say something.
Yeah.
Firstly, the reason why Oid Ahmed wasn't mentioned, because all the question was about Lutful Rahman. It wasn't about...
And he was irrelevant in 2014 and he's irrelevant now.
He wasn't.
If you notice the question, the host was asking, none of them had Oid Ahmed in it.
It wasn't her achievement when she was part. It was her achievement under the administration. So it wasn't
fantastic
her achievement
what you have said.
What it is, what we're trying to discuss here is the fact that Oid Ahmed's name didn't come up. Yeah, I agree with you. Mizan's Bai's questions were directed towards Lutful Bai. But the fact still remains is, you said he was deputy mayor. If he was deputy mayor and the leader got thrown out of office, who's supposed to be the next person who's supposed to take on the mantle? Oid Ahmed. So where was Oid Ahmed during 2015? Why wasn't he selected by Lutful Bai? I mean, that's
why did the councillors
question by asking by the community, that if he was the deputy mayor at that time, if he did have the achievements you're showing, I'm not diminishing any of the achievements that any of the councillors achieved. They've done great work, and I can't say that. I respect them. Some of them are older brothers, some of them are older sisters.
And they paved the way for us.
So you asked
what I'm trying to say.
Guys, we'll come back.
I believe I'll ask two questions.
We'll come back. We need to go for a short break.
Okay.
Dear viewers, we need to go for a short break. See you soon.
Sale, sale, sale. Massive clearance sale is going on from 1st November 2017. Salma Designer Abaya House is giving you up to 70% off on all designer abaya, 60% off on designer kaftan, 50% off on waistcoat, 50% off on Islamic books, 500 gram ajwa dates only for £10, and many more items. Visit our store to get this clearance sale. Salma Designer Abaya House, 118 Whitechapel Road, London E11JE. Telephone 02070182375.
আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে কার্গো বিজনেসের প্রসার ঘটিয়েছে জিএমজি। এক যুগেরও বেশি সময় ধরে জিএমজি আস্থার সাথে সেবা দিয়ে যাচ্ছে। সস্তা বিজ্ঞাপনে প্রতারিত হবেন না। জিএমজি বাংলাদেশ বিমান অনুমোদিত একমাত্র কার্গো সেলস এজেন্ট। কার্গো সেবা নিলে বেস্ট সেবাটাই নিন, নিরাপদ থাকুন। জিএমজি কার্গো, আস্থা ও বিশ্বস্ততার প্রতীক।
Oasis Banqueting Hall, Barking, is East London's first choice for any occasion, offering a range of services and facilities to suit your needs. Whether it's a wedding, birthday, anniversary, or religious service, 180 to 1,000 guests, you can trust us to make your event truly special. Oasis Banqueting Hall, Barking, the perfect choice for your occasion. For bookings, call 0208 594 2222.
PCO Claims মিনিক্যাব ড্রাইভারের বিপদর বন্ধু। গাড়ি অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট করিয়া জবলেস হওয়ার দিন শেষ। জাস্ট ওয়ান ফোন কলে PCO Claims আপনারে দিতে পারে 24 hours রিকভারি, ইমিডিয়েট রিপ্লেসমেন্ট কার, স্টোরেজ অ্যান্ড রিপেয়ার সার্ভিস। 02077917799।
Mom, isn't Dad come back home?
When a marriage breaks down, children suffer the most. If you are in this situation, we are here to help.
For Child and Family Matters, Kingdom Solicitors.
Sale, sale, sale. Salma Designer Abaya House এ ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল 1 নভেম্বর 2017 থেকে। Salma Designer Abaya House দিচ্ছে সকল আবায়ার উপর সর্বোচ্চ 70% মূল্য ছাড়, কাফতানের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 60%, ওয়েস্টকোটের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 50%, 500 গ্রাম আজওয়া খেজুর মাত্র 10 পাউন্ড এবং ইসলামিক বইয়ের উপর রয়েছে সর্বোচ্চ 50% মূল্য ছাড়। আজই আসুন এবং আমাদের ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল অফার গ্রহণ করুন। Salma Designer Abaya House, 118 Whitechapel Road, London E11JE. Telephone 02070182375.
Hello there. Legal Taxi's mobile app is an amazing cloud-based taxi booking solution. The taxi drivers and passengers can access this application anytime and anywhere. Are you trying to call up a taxi? Well, don't waste your precious time anymore. And now, you can book your taxi at ease. Do you want to know how? It's so simple. Download the Legal Taxis app from the App Store. Enter the location manually or drag the balloon where you want the pickup and drop to happen. Legal Taxis application shows the taxis nearby. On a single click, your request is sent to the nearest driver. The taxi driver will receive your request and accept it instantly. In return, you will receive the notification and you could check the current location of the taxi with the estimated time to reach your pickup location. At the end of your journey, you will receive the receipt of taxi fare in your mobile app. Legal Taxis app not only allows you to book regular taxis but also black cabs, mini cabs and Hackney carriages. Book your taxi today for a great voyage at Legal Taxis.
Welcome back to Pride and Politics. Let's go back to some of our comments that's come through to Facebook. Moinuddin, the filthy politics which is created division is being ignored by both of the independent group. I personally think both parties are fighting for their own ego. I don't think they have any thoughts for the Bangladeshi community. They will say they are for our community, which I don't believe at all. Only saying that to serve their own agenda. What would you say about this, Ross?
Well, I think, of course, it seems as though this whole news, this whole furore going around that, this, first of all, let's clarify something. The Bangladeshi community in Hamlets, when you say united, yes, we should be united, but doesn't mean we can't have ideological differences. It doesn't mean that we can't have, each person has their own political sort of interest in something.
Can't that be somehow
why are we
amalgamated in one agenda as an overall?
No, Mizan, that's the wrong way of saying that. If you can't say that the the whole Somalian community only worries about one person. No, they worry about other people too. Same thing with the Bangladeshi community. The Bangladeshi community, the context going around is, who will the Bangladeshi community vote? Rabina or Ohid? Why is it just those two options? Do you see what I'm saying? And then there are other options, obviously, there are other patterns. Yeah. And then there's the other question here where this sister mentioned earlier. She said that, do you think Rabina got 27,000 votes on her own? I mean, that's extremely offensive. That's one thing.
How is it offensive?
It's offensive to suggest that you think that the Bangladeshi community is so stupid that they are only be voting for one person that Lutfur Bhai told them to. That is offensive. Do you think Bangladeshi people...
But that's what you guys were claiming was her vote. Like,
Hang on a second. You're the one who's saying that did Rabina get those votes on her own?
Yeah, that's what you were claiming, so I was clarifying.
She did.
I never claimed that.
There you go.
I never claimed that.
That does fit.
From what I recall, she didn't mention it was a team effort.
There you go.
Exactly.
Rabina
It was a team effort.
was the leader.
You
Let
guys
me
seem to
finish.
contradict
Let me
each other.
finish.
No, we're not.
He asked me the question, I'm responding. Let me finish and then you can say something, sister, yeah?
No, I think the brother over here actually
sorry.
asked the question.
Rabina Khan was the leader. Previously, Lutfur Bhai was the leader. Nobody's denying that. But the fact that you said to her and said, do you think Rabina got it on her own? No. No politician gets votes on their own. They have a team around them. Of course they do. But the fact that you're saying it, that those vote banks are Lutfur Bhai, that's offensive. And Bangladeshi people, these Hamlets are not stupid. They have a mind of their own. They don't need to be herded like sheep by Lutfur Bhai.
Perhaps
can I come back to...
There's nothing to say to his
Zakaria,
team, because
please.
my vote was given to Rabina out of my own choice. I'm not involved in politics. I never was.
Zakaria, please. Yeah? Right? We have another question which says, appreciate your brilliant program. I would be grateful if the panel can enlighten me. Should our politics be for the community or for our personal gain? How should we respect the democracy for
we profess to
love?
Well, I think it's quite clear. It's a two-horse race between Ohid Bhai and Labour team.
Clearly.
It's not about Lib Dems, it's not about Conservative. Definitely not about the husband and wife team. I'm sorry, it's not.
See, again, you're being offensive. Why are you being offensive?
What do
you mean it's a husband and wife team?
But is that not a fact? Are they not husband and wife?
They were husband and wife in the previous administration. It was not actually them.
It's a team
You're
led by the
suggesting
husband and wife team.
I think, can we leave that
husband and wife team? Our chair is...
But they are husband and wife though. Unless they're divorced now, there's something happened, I'm not sure.
See, again, why the personal? What do you mean divorce? Why are you bringing that into... Why are you bringing that?
Sorry.
Can we leave the community watching this here are not going to appreciate you being so offensive. You're being offensive.
colleague mentioned it's their husband and wife.
So what's husband and wife?
Are they not husband and wife?
No, you said something else.
I seem to remember you have candidates who are husband and wife.
You have Mahbub Bhai and Farhana who are husband and wife.
There's nothing wrong with it.
So why are you disrespecting your own team?
Okay, please, one at a time, right?
You
guys are coming.
You're using a term that's offensive.
I apologize if I upset you, but
it's not upsetting him.
I'm not upsetting.
Zach, please.
The community can see through you.
Zakaria, please. When I'm talking, right, I can't get my... Please,
Exactly.
Elahi, please have some respect, right? I'm trying to coordinate. I'm allowing everyone to say give their point of view, right? If all of us are talking, no one will be hearing, right? You see, I even lost my actual point, right? Come to think of it. I mean, this brother... It is. I mean, when you're talking about, right, husband and wife, let's not go into that, right? It doesn't matter who it is. They're a team, right? And there's a group, right? Let's not start bantering in that languages, right? What I'll say is, if we can keep our personal differences aside, right? Don't you think, as Sabir just mentioned, that there's no question about it, it's only one race between Labour and Ohid. On the other hand, we are having, say, no, it's only between Rabina and Labour. But irrespective of what your understanding might be in this case, right, what is this community gonna get from two leaders?
If it continues this way?
Yeah.
Okay. Again, so as my colleague rightly mentioned, it seems as if it is a two-horse race between Ohid Ahmed and Mayor John Biggs. And that's based on the response of the people that we're speaking to. Now, I personally have gone out to quite a few doors around the borough. I've pretty much gone to most awards, at the 20 awards. And I've seen people, again, when they see us, when they see me, they greet me. Because they remember me from 2015 when I was out there campaigning for Rabina Khan. They remember me from 2014 when I was out there campaigning for Lutfur Rahman. So again, I've fortunately, I guess it's nice when people remember you. But again, in terms of kind of going out, in terms of finding out who's got more support, I would like to think that the very same people that gave me reliable factual information in 2014, the very same people that gave me reliable factual information in 2015, if they've given me if they've been kind of honest, sincere with me twice before, I wouldn't doubt.
Can I just cut you on this? Can I cut you onto this, right? I've got one of the question. What direct action has your leader taken on recent issues of knife crime and acid attacks?
Okay.
I mean, this has been issue that's been prolonged for some time, and can you elaborate this?
Of course, most certainly.
He's in the council now, am I right?
Yes. So most certainly, and it upsets me actually to think about the fact that last April 2016 was the current mayor's Mayor John Biggs's first budget. Yeah. That's when a decision was made, an executive decision was made by the mayor to make drastic cuts to frontline services, such as getting rid of 34 police officers in Tower Hamlets. So again, I'm not saying that directly led to the crime, but what I'm trying to say is there's a clear link, because a year and a half after that, you see a rise in gang attacks, a rise in acid attacks and stuff like that. It felt as if the youth perhaps, or maybe people weren't scared. So in terms of Oid Ahmed, what did he do? So he proposed an alternative budget. He said, do not sack these 34 officers, or this could potentially happen. Crime levels will go up, more people will be in the streets, and that's evidently what's been happening in the past year and a half. You also talk about, I mentioned youth there, for instance. We had, when we were in charge, when we were in power, again in the previous administration, including Rabina Khan, all as part of one team, we put a lot of money into the youth service. There's a lot of young people in Tower Hamlets, and we know that in order to to keep the youth off the streets, you got to give them something, you got to keep them engaged. Zach, you've mentioned yourself, you're a youth worker by profession, so you can probably understand and relate to this the most. It's not always about giving them big houses so they can stay at home. Sometimes when you're a teenager,
Sorry, Robert,
when
the
I was a
question is,
teenager,
what has he done since Labour's taken over?
So what he's done is he's been fighting in the council, he's been fighting Mayor John Biggs, he's been trying to get his budget, his proposals through, but he kept getting rejected because of the fact that he was the current mayor.
Exactly, he's getting rejected time
because of the fact that we're not
Why? I mean, I was going through the candidates that's in this borough, and you can see, sort of like in one borough you have got a mixture of Lib Dem, Conservative, so they are obviously battling for different agenda for themselves. Every single ward has got this type of differences. So whatever is put forward is rejected. Nothing is going to be done, right? So this is one of the things that currently is happening. That's why nothing is being done. So no matter on the street level, whatever is happening, if someone has a brilliant idea, it's been thrown away. I'm going to come to another question which for me was quite interesting. How would you, as a Muslim Bangladeshi woman, how would you feel if Tower Hamlet elects, right, first ever female British Bangladeshi mayor?
As a female, I would be proud of achievements, and it's a role model for as a Muslim female hijab wearer.
And before you answer this, also the way we started, Lutfur Rahman also broke a barrier when he was elected as an independent candidate. We also respect that as well, the way everything started. And again, for Rubina, if she is, I'm not saying she will, if she is.
So like I said, as a female, I would like to see another female standing there. Obviously, it shows that Muslim women have moved forward. However, as a person, I'd rather have someone who could deliver and fulfill the need of the community more than the fact that I've got a female who looks like me. So for me, in a sense, someone that has a track record of delivering and serving the community is far more greater than seeing someone like me leading the borough.
No, I totally agree.
Okay.
See, the really is, again, the question is, would you be proud? Would you be proud? That's what I'm asking you. Would you be proud to see a woman break the mold? Just like Lutfulbai broke the mold in 2010, would you like to see a woman break the mold in 2018?
It's not black and white though, is it?
I'm not saying, I'm just asking the question, would you like to see her break the mold?
But
that's the question.
I'm not getting this point. So basically, you've asked the question.
I asked the question.
And she responded.
How?
And it seems like you're saying, do you want her to
wasn't really answered to you, was it?
I think she did.
She skirted the subject. She skirted the subject and saying, I would be proud of the woman, but you know.
Okay, I think she answered it her own way.
Fair enough.
She answered it her own way.
That's all. Just wanted to clarify.
Okay, what type of inspiration and passion do you get from your party leaders? I'll throw this to you, Russ.
The passion you have from our party leader, Rabina Khan, is that every day she's out there fighting for people. She is the only councillor on record to have the highest amount of members' inquiries. Okay. I don't think you can say that about your candidate.
So why did you say that?
Is it factual what you're saying?
We did.
How many has she had?
He mentioned it.
How many? Okay, fine. Factual.
I don't have the statistics, but she does have
but
the
you
highest.
Can't just say that. What's the source?
It was reported. It was reported that she had the highest.
Where was it reported?
Okay, one second.
Again, I don't have the statistics.
If there isn't,
I believe this, but I don't have any proof. Doesn't make any sense. What's your
the question as well? Well, the question itself is, where's the passion? And I'm giving you the passion.
Okay,
I'm giving you the leader's passion. She's out there every day.
Once again, Rash. I think
it's very Zach, can you finish?
I think it's very clear.
Let him finish.
I know they finished, but let's not interject.
This is the passion of People's Alliance.
I understand.
Let's not interject, because I think
we have a candidate who's willing to fight for everyone in the borough. Why are we, this is my problem with this whole situation. And one of your viewers made a comment about what are they doing for the community, or they're probably doing it for themselves. No, this is for the community. And when I say community, I mean the entire community of Hamlets, not just the Bangladeshis. Of course, Bangladeshis make up a significant number, but we've got to remember there are other communities in the borough, and Rabina Khan has the competency, has the experience, has the skills, and everything else that she can deliver for everyone in Tower Hamlets, and not just the Bangladeshi community.
So what makes her stand up from Mohid Ahmed? What does she have that's so incredible?
Again, what I'm trying to let me one second. This is again. I'm trying to ask you the question, brother. Okay. My whole point behind this is, first of all, if we're going to go into the whole passages of talking about what happened with the whole, you guys yourself were accused by the courts of only catering to one section of the community. Hang on. I'm not finished, brother. I'm not finished. Let me finish. Yeah?
I'm going to disagree with that, because you guys were us guys.
Exactly.
That includes yourself. That includes. I'm sorry, but that includes.
I'm sorry. When you say us guys, I'm not saying us guys.
So you know when you say you guys,
you're talking about. Let me finish, please. Let me finish. You're talking about that. I'm bringing up a point here. The second thing is, and this is what I wanted to ask you earlier, because I couldn't ask you because the question got skipped over. I just wanted to ask you, in 2015, when the election came, when Lutfulbai was removed from office and the elections came. First of all, where was Ohid Ahmed? Why wasn't the deputy mayor selected? One question. Second thing, fair enough, he wasn't selected. I agree, he wasn't selected. Because why? Rabina was the better candidate. But even in the council...
Do you want to throw this question to them?
Even in the council at that time, why wasn't the deputy leader becoming the leader of the opposition party in the council? Why was it Oliur Rahman? Why was the independent group led by Oliur Rahman where was the deputy mayor?
Okay.
This is the last bit of it. And what has happened since in the last 3 years, where Rabina Khan has done solid work, she was supported by everyone from Lutfulbai to everyone else, and now you're out of power. Everyone's out of power now, right? You agree with me with that? Labour's in power for the last 3 years.
Fine.
So in the last 3 years, what's happened? What has Ohid Ahmed done to suddenly become Lutfur Rahman's #1 guy? That's what I'm trying to find out.
I thank you for your points. Honestly, you put on a plate for me. So first and foremost, in 2015, you mentioned that Rabina Khan stood as a candidate. Now, in regards to what Ohid Ahmed done, you made quite a few valid points there. Ohid Ahmed, he at the time, and I spoke to him personally. So this isn't based on his, it's based on what he
Again,
said to
it's
me.
your word against anybody else. But yes, carry on. Go for it.
I've heard it from the guy himself, so
Go for it.
I don't know how much credible can get from that.
Well, fair
Not
enough.
from X and so said this, but I don't have a source.
Fair
Anyway,
enough.
so back to the point. So Oid Ahmed,
we can Google statistics.
That's
You
fine.
can't-
So
what you're
Oid
saying is
Ahmed,
hearsay.
again,
Conversation between
you
you
and
and Oid Ahmed, you can call him yourself. I'll give you his number, no problem.
Again, he's not the authority on the
It's
truth.
not a playground. Let
I've
me-
got it.
yeah,
He's not the
can
authority
I
on the
finish?
truth. Go on.
So basically, Oid Ahmed, his mother's ill, very ill. He went to America. He actually went back to America literally last November, December, it was because his mother was, severely, really, really ill. So in June 2015, again, his mother fell ill, so he needed to go back with his family to see his mum, who could have potentially passed away. So I'm sorry, but I feel, if that was my mum or your mum, I'm sure we would have done the same. So let's not blame him for going to see his sick mother.
I'm not blaming
You've
him
asked
at all.
Fine. You've made a second point.
He
as
was
well.
selected
In
when
terms
he was,
of,
she was selected when she was here. He was here when she was selected.
Can I, sorry, Zach, I'm talking.
Just
So earlier on, Mizan, but you mentioned a point. What was Lutfur Rahman's biggest downfall, let's say? If I'm being totally open and frank with you, is the fact that he imposed a particular person as a candidate. What should have happened is
Hang on a second. He was
it
thrown
should
out of
have-
office
I'm
before
sorry.
he
I'm
proposed
sorry.
Rabina.
I'm sorry.
No, hang on.
I'm not sure you were.
Now you're just going around. That's a lie. That's a complete
Were
lie.
you in the team? I don't
No.
remember.
Were you in the team? I can't prove that.
Call Rabina, can't tell her. Ask her about me.
Hang on a second.
Ask her about me.
Why we have a discussion?
I have got a comment here.
If Lutfur is in office, why would you choose another candidate?
Anyway, he imposed Rabina Khan,
Sorry,
and now there was a democratic process where the group selected Oid Ahmed, and she got upset and she left.
Okay, I've got a comment here. Vote for Robina, as ex-mayor Lutfur Bai said in last election. She was very capable leader, right? So, I mean, obviously we are having negative and positive. I mean, what has actually changed during that time? That's one of the
left
questions.
the group because she
And also on your account, Elahi, on your account, right? I don't know much about this. Please correct me. Rubina was part of the.
If you want.
Okay, Rubina was part of the court inquiry and found guilty. She wasn't found guilty. You are shooting yourself in the foot. Okay, that was one of people. And then we have people saying about vote Labour, mainstream politics is the best for the community, blah blah. Okay, not blah blah.
So you asked the question: what happened between 2015 to 2018? Why the potential resentment or whatever you want to call it for Rabina Khan?
No, there was no. The question was, what has Oid Ahmed done since being in the direct opposition in regards to knife crime and acid attacks?
Yeah, no,
what has he done?
We've already moved on from why I recall Mizan.
That was the actual
what
question.
has Rabina Khan? Why has Rabina Khan? Like, for example, how come the stance has changed with Rabina Khan? And I would like to answer that if I'm able to. Now that goes. It's a fundamental point you've made there. For example, in 2015, like I mentioned, one of the biggest downfalls Lutfur Rahman may have had is the fact that he imposed a candidate. And yes, I can say that because I was with. I was in the team.
How can he impose? Listen. His downfall, what does his downfall mean? Getting thrown out of office, yeah? How can he impose a candidate if he's in office?
Can I finish?
Correct the gentleman, he's not making any sense.
Okay,
so he put a gun to all your councillors' heads and said you have to support Rabina.
No.
So how did he impose
his
a candidate?
His downfall was because of the corrupt and illegal practices. Why don't you be honest?
Be a good candidate and he
let me just clarify something. Okay,
no.
I've not spoken for about 10 minutes.
Sabi hasn't said anything.
We have quoted what people have said. Can I quote Rabina? She said, and I don't know if you guys remember her speech on 2015, don't ever forget Lutfur Rahman's great achievement for the community in Hamlets. She also said, she is in politics and in position because of the encouragement and support from Lutfur Rahman. So what happened to her principle and the support?
What's your point? I don't think she's still denying that. I don't think she's denying that. I don't think she's denying that. But just because she...
Hold up. Ras,
let him answer it.
Wait, can I say something quickly, please?
Hang on, 1 second.
Wherever you're getting your questions from is already biased. The point you said was...
First of all,
what WhatsApp group is that?
I don't think that's been denied. Rabina has never denied that Lutfur Bai is no longer... I don't care about him anymore. Let me finish. You make the question.
No, but I can finish. You just ruined
it. She barely had 30. So Mizan, but she barely had 30 seconds.
Okay,
go for it.
You asked the question. He was trying to answer it. Yeah. So can you answer it?
I don't think Rabina has ever denied the fact. Yes, she said that Lutfur Rahman, he did pave the way. He paved the way for people like me, you
guys, everyone.
We all have. We agree on that, don't we?
Yes.
That 2010 was a massive milestone to get over, and it was a barrier that he broke it, and I'm not denying that. Rabina herself, even now, she's not going to turn around and say that Lutfur Rahman didn't do anything for me. No. Lutfur Rahman did everything for each Bangladeshi who wants to achieve something bigger. Yeah, nobody's denying that. So why are you quoting that? What's that?
So why would she go against executive decision made by the group? Why would she go?
Decision by the group. Excuse me.
Why would she
there
go
was no
against?
executive
Why would she
decision
go
made by the
So
group.
now, this time, now, what
There
happens?
was no executive decision
Since then to now, yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, or let's bring Aminur Khan if needs be. Cancel Aminur Khan. From what I understand, yeah, to save upsetting people again, in 2015 a decision was made, right? Now this time round, from what I understand, Aminur Khan said, you know what, let the group decide who they want the mayoral candidate to be, right? Fine. Now it came to everyone kind of agreed, fine, let's do that, and then let the group kind of had their own kind of vote who they want the leader to be. Now the group, when it came to voting time, from what I understand, Rabina Khan thought no, she wanted to be the candidate because she perhaps felt it was a God-given right to do it. Because she got it in 2015, she got 26,000 votes. She thought, no, I need to get it again, not giving other people a chance. Anyway, it came to voting time, and as a joke, no offense to Shalom, but for some reason they put Shalom through, not putting herself through. I'm sure he's a very credible councillor. I'm sure he does his job very well. But she didn't put herself through. They put someone else through instead. What happened? Again, they didn't turn up. Councillor Oid Ahmed got the most votes. 3 times they tried to rearrange that meeting.
Okay, who is he and they? We're not talking like you're talking about things which I
about
can't comment on. You can't prove.
I'm talking about.
And we're still here. This is why.
Talking about Rabina
this
Khan.
is what.
Because you don't want to
No,
listen
no.
to
It's
this.
this is
thing
okay.
that you don't want to
we need
accept.
to,
Can I say something?
we need to go for a short break again.
Okay.
Dear viewers, if you have any comments, right, you can ring us on 0208 1234 507. Or you can send your comments on Facebook or Twitter. See you after the short break. Thank you.
It's 10:51. What time does it finish?
This can go on all night.
Sale. Massive clearance sale is going on from 1st November 2017. Salma Designer Abaya House is giving you up to 70% off on all designer abaya, 60% off on designer kaftan, 50% off on waistcoat, 50% off on Islamic books, 500 gram ajwa dates only for £10, and many more items. Visit our store to get this clearance sale. Salma Designer Abaya House, 118 Whitechapel Road, London E11JE. Telephone 02070182375.
আমাদের কমিউনিটিতে কার্গো বিজনেসের প্রসার ঘটিয়েছে জিএমজি। এক যুগেরও বেশি সময় ধরে জিএমজি আস্থার সাথে সেবা দিয়ে যাচ্ছে। সস্তা বিজ্ঞাপনে প্রতারিত হবেন না। জিএমজি বাংলাদেশ বিমান অনুমোদিত একমাত্র কার্গো সেলস এজেন্ট। কার্গো সেবা নিলে বেস্ট সেবাটাই নিন, নিরাপদ থাকুন। জিএমজি কার্গো, আস্থা ও বিশ্বস্ততার প্রতীক।
Oasis Banqueting Hall, Barking, is East London's first choice for any occasion, offering a range of services and facilities to suit your needs. Whether it's a wedding, birthday, anniversary, or religious service, 180 to 1,000 guests, you can trust us to make your event truly special. Oasis Banqueting Hall, Barking, the perfect choice for your occasion. For bookings, call 0208 594 2222.
পিসিও ক্লেইমস মিনি ক্যাব ড্রাইভারের বিপদর বন্ধু গাড়ি অ্যাক্সিডেন্ট করিয়া জবলেস হওয়ার দিন শেষ জাস্ট ওয়ান ফোন কলে পিসিও ক্লেইমস আপনারে দিতে পারে 24 আওয়ার্স রিকভারি ইমিডিয়েট রিপ্লেসমেন্ট কার স্টোরেজ অ্যান্ড রিপেয়ার সার্ভিস 02077917799
Mom, isn't Dad come back home?
When a marriage breaks down, children suffer the most. If you are in this situation, we are here to help.
For child and family matters, Kingdom Solicitors.
সেল 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 সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউসে ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল 1 নভেম্বর 2017 থেকে সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউস দিচ্ছে সকল আবায়ার উপর সর্বোচ্চ 70% মূল্য ছাড়, কাফতানের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 60%, ওয়েস্টকোটের উপর সর্বোচ্চ 50%, 500 গ্রাম আজওয়া খেজুর মাত্র 10 পাউন্ড এবং ইসলামিক বইয়ের উপর রয়েছে সর্বোচ্চ 50% মূল্য ছাড়। আজই আসুন এবং আমাদের ক্লিয়ারেন্স সেল অফার গ্রহণ করুন। সালমা ডিজাইনার আবায়া হাউস, 118 হোয়াইটচ্যাপেল রোড, লন্ডন E11JE, টেলিফোন 02070182375।
Hello there. Legal Taxi's mobile app is an amazing cloud-based taxi booking solution. The taxi drivers and passengers can access this application anytime and anywhere. Are you trying to call up a taxi? Well, don't waste your precious time anymore. And now, you can book your taxi at ease. Do you want to know how? It's so simple. Download the Legal Taxis app from the App Store. Enter the location manually or drag the balloon where you want the pickup and drop to happen. Legal Taxis application shows the taxis nearby. On a single click, your request is sent to the nearest driver. The taxi driver will receive your request and accept it instantly. In return, you will receive the notification and you could check the current location of the taxi with the estimated time to reach your pickup location. At the end of your journey, you will receive the receipt of taxi fare in your mobile app. Legal Taxis app not only allows you to book regular taxis but also black cabs, mini cabs and hackney carriages. Book your taxi today for a great voyage at Legal Taxis.
Welcome back to Pride and Politics. Fazle, you were saying before the break.
So where did we? Which in regards to what happened?
Yes.
And, okay, fine. So in terms of you again, both of you raised very good points, and I commend you for that. In 2015, you mentioned why, for example, when Rabina Khan stood, why did Ohid Ahmed stand? Now there were a lot of people asking him to stand, a lot of community activists asking him to stand, but he saw the bigger picture. He knew if he stood, what would happen? Essentially, that the community would be divided, and what's going to happen? Big's going to go through. So yes, he didn't campaign for Rabina Khan. Again, I explained as to the reason, because he was in the country. He had to go to America to visit his sick mother. In regards to
so did he not stand because he had to go to America, or did he not stand because he didn't get
no, he didn't
if
stand.
you want to split the division,
I'm sorry, no, that's rude. That's
no, that is not rude.
I said he didn't stand because he didn't want to divide the community.
Listen, brother, before the break, I said 1 second. Before the break, you said yeah, that he didn't stand because he had to go and see his mother.
No, I did not say that.
No, 100%
I did not say that.
Now you're saying he didn't stand because there's going to be a community, brother. I don't get that.
No, my brother, you're confused.
The mother issue, I 100% agree with it. If my mother was like that,
I've got a call here.
Of course.
But now let me take this call.
Now you're
guys, let me take this call.
Support her because he went abroad. Two different points, my brother.
Please.
Sorry, let me call. Right, I lost this call. It will come
Sorry,
back
caller.
again. Right. What it is, right? We have got so much pride about our
passion,
individual candidates, right? And hence, well, they're back again. Let me just take this call quickly. Hello, you're live on LB24. Who am I speaking to? Walaikum salam. জি
কিন্তু আপনারা তো ডিভাইডেড হয়ে গেছেন, আপনারা তো এক না এক হইয়া করতে আপনারা এখানে এক হইয়া করুক, এক হইয়া করলে তো আমরা জয়ব।
You're getting this one.
Can I answer?
Okay. Elai bhai, bhai apnar naam ta bolbein please.
আমার নাম জাহাঙ্গীর।
জাহাঙ্গীর ভাই।
সওয়াল করুন জাহাঙ্গীর ভাই, ভালো শুননি?
আপনার জি আছে?
জি আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, থ্যাংক ইউ। আপনি বহুত ভালো জি না, আপনি বহুত সুন্দর কোয়েশ্চেন জিজ্ঞাসেন। এখন তো ইনো আমার দেখা যায় আমরা বহুত চেষ্টা করছি।
আপনারা কোনো জব করা না আছে?
জি জি
মানে ইউটিউব করা, আপনারা ইউটিউব এক লোকে জব করি আপনারা?
জি আচ্ছা আলহামদুলিল্লাহ, ইনো আমরা বহুত একবার আমরা চেষ্টা করছি, আমরা একলগে দিও গ্রুপ একলগে বইতাম আর এক গ্রুপ হইতাম, আমরা বহুত মিনত করছি, কিন্তু দেখা যায় হি চাইতে কি তারা একলগে রাজি হইছেন না বইবার লাগি। শেষ পর্যন্ত বহুত কমিউনিটি রেসপেক্টেড কমিউনিটি মেম্বার যেগুলো তারা ট্রাই করছে মিটিং ফ্যাসিলিটেট করতে, বাট ইনো তারা আইতা চাইছিল না।
ওকে, দিস ইজ দ্য
জি
এক পার্টি স্যাক্রিফাইস করতে হইব।
খোলা ভাই এক স্যাক্রিফাইস করতে।
আপনারা যদি দুইজনে খাওয়ান না, তাহলে তো বুট প্লেয়ারে বাকি দিব।
ভাই সাহেব
তো এই পার্টি আমরা জিতে দিব আপনারা তো বাংলাদেশ মন্ত্রী লাভ হইতো না
জি ভাই সাহেব ই মাত ওইতে না একলগে বোয়া লাগবে না নি ফইলা এখন যদি আমরা হি পার্টি আইন না বাদে দেখা যার হি বাই দি নিউজের মাঝে যাইরা কি
Well, let's have both of the party talking live debate on LB24.
Exactly. Let's have Ohid Bhai and Rabina Khan doing the hosting.
ভাই
We can have this.
সাহেব যদি একলগে আমরা বই ফর एग्जांपल দেন অফিসে যা কথা মাথা যাইবো বা যদি আমরা হি গ্রুপটা কি তারা ফর एग्जांपल কনজারভেটিভ পার্টি লোক গিয়া বই তখন বা খালিসুদ্দিন
ওই তো খালি এক্সকিউজ পার হইও আমরা কনজারভেটিভ কোন দিন আনলাম ভাই
আলটিমেট মোটিভ
Sorry, ভাই কি তা চলে আবার কো জানি জাঙ্গির
Can I just make a point?
Right. Actually, what it is, again, everyone is almost saying the same thing, even on the feeds, right? Why don't both parties unite? There's a division in the votes and all that. And I believe this is a very much a passion of all the most of the voters, right? Finding the right candidate. If there's any sort of differences that we can, wrap it up. If there's any sort of differences. Sabia, you're going to say something actually. While Elahi was talking. Or you're going to talk to the...
I was actually...
Sorry.
Was that the same brother?
No, another one. Can I take this?
Yeah, go on.
Hello, Kola? Hello?
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
Assalamualaikum.
Walaikum salam.
I'm Sams speaking.
Walaikum salam, Sams. You're on live on LB24, Pride and Politics.
Hello. Hi, my question is, we keep saying we're going to do this, do that, and we're debating about two candidates, but there was no message being left for the community. What really those candidates going to do for the community?
Fantastic
And
question.
the other thing, my second question is, we always say that we're going to bring the community together, so we're going to work together, so there'll be one community. My question, if you existing 16 councillors cannot come together, how do you believe that those people are going to bring the community together? Thank you.
Thank you very much for your contribution.
I personally believe that's a fantastic question, and that reflects on individual. I mean, if you go back to how certain things happen, Ohid Bhai went by, he was elected by the group, and therefore he represented the group. However, because he did not fulfill Rubina's own personal agenda, whatever she wanted, she left the group, so created her own party. So that says a lot as her in the community. If she's not happy with the community, she's going to leave the community and go to another community to serve another community. I mean, we can all sit here and talk about we should come together, we should do two things together, but the way it seems, and from what I've gathered from both of you brothers here, if we don't say exactly what you want to hear, you seem to be on an attack mode, and you don't seem to be happy. You have this
If you're going to be saying it with
lies,
then yes, it's going to be attacked.
No, we don't do lies. We don't do lies.
Please do.
Yeah,
We have facts. When we talk about facts, we have reference. We don't say facts and say, hang on, I don't have reference. I think that's the fact. You accused me of singularly talking about Rubina's vote when it was clearly your teammate. But again, I suppose you guys have miscommunication somewhere, but then again, it comes from the top. It doesn't come from the down. So I see that in your reflection. I mean, we can work together as a community.
I think if you can stick to brother who was asking the question, okay, if we can answer his questions,
in terms of what our candidates have done or what they are going to do.
I don't think we listened to that.
That wasn't the question.
That was how are they going
You're responding to your pre-recorded tribe that you forgot the question.
If those 16
Can I answer this, please?
councillors cannot unite, how are they going to unite?
In terms of, you asked a very good question. In terms of
No, I didn't.
I meant the person. What the candidate, what Ohid Ahmed, for example, as American wants to do, what he wants to achieve.
No, it's not what he wants. If 16 councillors, from the independent group cannot come together. As one unit, how are they going to unite?
That's the thing. If Rubina didn't leave with
no,
the
forget
team,
about Rubina.
then we would have been uniting.
Then we have to have some type of policies that's going to
Ohid
unite
Bhai
everyone
has
together.
approached them.
So
the people in the community have approached
your
them.
side is blaming on Rubina. Rubina's side is blaming on you.
Really,
Clearly,
the community,
we as
have
a
got
community,
involved.
we as an sort of like individual voters out there, right? Where do we stand?
Can
I'll say.
Can I say something, Mizan?
I want to interrupt you. Sorry, I've been watching all your program from the beginning. What I find that we are not accepting no one's comments because we just blaming each other. It is very easy to do that. In that circumstance, I want to say that if we have the same objectives to work for the community, we must accept each other.
Absolutely.
And we must respect each other while we talk. So whenever you guys talk, I would request please talk once at a time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Assalamualaikum, Baisal. Thank you for this sentiment. Everyone is saying the same thing. we should have one candidate. For the Bangladeshi community, we should have one Bengali candidate. Yeah, but I don't want to talk about that. What I want to talk about is, please, everyone. I'm sure we're going to say, binti khori, choose the right candidate. Choose Zugyumandike candidate. That's my problem. And the only competent person is Rabina over Ovidna.
Based on the fact that she wrote a book?
Based on her history and her skills.
Guys, I mean, she's a mother, yes.
Now you're just taking the mick out of her achievements. That's not right.
I'm quoting you guys. I'm sorry for
writing a book. Writing a book is not a simple thing.
I'm sorry, I'm quoting both of you brothers.
Is it a simple thing? I never said anything about a book.
No.
Guys, I never said anything about a book.
Listen, and she's a mother, so she's credible to be a mayor now.
No, it's not like that. He's got a phone call and I'll answer the question to respond.
Sorry, hello, you're on live on LB24.
Just want to ask a couple of questions. I guess to Matui diversity সম্বন্ধে your party মাত্রা diversity সম্বন্ধে can any of the parties say that there are diverse candidates put up করছেন কে আমাদের সমাজে?
Who would you like to address this to?
Labour Party.
Labour?
Mainstream party মাঝে different communities represent করা হইছে.
Okay.
And in আমাদের yes, of course, Bangladeshi community আমরা suffering আছি, disadvantage আছি. Diverse candidates some of the
okay. We are talking about that.
So where are the women candidates? Where are the Somali candidates from the independent parties?
Fantastic. Thank you very much, sister.
Can I ask a question? It doesn't matter.
I'm sorry.
No.
She asked the question to the independent party. Sorry, brother. She asked the question to the independent party.
You're not even a party, though. Tumra aspire. Come on, be serious.
Brother, are you registered?
We are an independent group.
Sorry, who are you?
Aspire. So if
independent,
we're both independent. We're both independent.
Can you answer the
question? I can answer the question.
Hang on a second.
No, let me ask the question.
You're still on the program as independent. That's why it's being referred to as independent. Simple as that.
You're the one that said I'm aspire.
Okay, can I ask the question?
None of the parties are doing justice to you.
I know.
I don't understand why we can't have a civil discussion about this.
I don't like it when people jump in.
Your brother here said I'm aspire.
Get to the issues,
Elahi,
can I answer the question, please?
Get to the issues.
Excuse me.
Can I answer the question?
One sec. Right. First of all, right, if someone has asked a question, right, which your voters out there, and we are quabbling in here, it's not doing none of you the justice. We are trying to give you the platform where you can voice out your concerns or your views, right? And it's not doing none of you. I mean, this sister asked a very valid question, and I believe, right, she deserves an answer. So can I, Zach, you are planning to answer. You're going to answer.
I think we're very sort of interested in, the Bengali side of the politics and stuff, and who the candidate is and what we represent. Me, I'm standing as a prospective candidate for St. Dunstan, knowing that I've got support of white, black, Bengali, and everybody of all kind. It's about the competency. In regards to how we're talking about this question also, it's about unity and stuff. Why don't we go get the Labour members who happen to be of our origin to come and support us and actually oppose the things that their party is doing then? We're not chasing after Labour and the people that are letting us down every single time for council. Yeah, we're here talking about...
No, you did not answer the young lady.
No, if it's about diversity, we can field women, we can field people. It's like people want to expression.
Please.
But I'm representing everybody when I stand. So is Rabina. So is my brother here, Ras. Town is not Bangladesh.
No.
It's people from all backgrounds and we should be capable of leading.
You did not answer the young lady's
question.
Right? She was saying that why haven't you got candidates from other... We're saying this is a multicultural community from other communities. Why don't we have a Somalian brothers or sisters? Why don't we have someone from African community? Why can't we have from Pakistani community, Indian community, or any other community? Why is it only Bangladeshi community? Why do you have all the councillors or prospective councillors from Bangladeshi community? That's the question.
And that's a great question.
Right. Can you answer that question?
The answer to that is, first of all, the nomination hasn't closed yet.
That's it.
So we are fielding candidates. We've got two non-Bangladeshis.
So this was a very straightforward answer, which you have said.
Yes.
Right? So that's what you want to
That's what they want to know. And I don't understand why we're hiding behind personal rubbishing of everything else. Yes.
Actually, no.
The process is still happening. Sorry, sister. I'm answering this question. The process is still happening. Nomination hasn't closed yet.
Okay. But are you looking into?
Of course. Like I said, Tower Hamlets is one borough, not one community. It's one borough as a whole. And in that borough, there are many different ethnicities that come together to make one community.
And whoever the candidates are, they have to represent the public.
Has to represent the entire community.
And it's about the competency. I could put up someone who's blue who can do the job, and I'll be happy with that.
Can I just
Actually, I think we're one step ahead. We have white people on board as
So do
prospective
we.
candidates. So I think
so
we
do
are.
I'm sorry, I just said non-Bangladeshi, I have candidates.
We have as well.
You're looking into.
You're just saying
We have.
Natasha
There's a
Bolter,
difference.
one
You're
person.
I'm not.
looking
I'm
We
not.
have. There's
Again,
a difference.
can I just hear what
difference.
Again, what about
We
the Somali
have-
community, sister?
we
Where's the
have-
Vietnamese community?
Like you said, the nomination.
But no, but you
hasn't
just went to
closed.
white.
No,
I
no,
never
no.
said that. I
Hold
said
on
we
a
have
second. Why are we
non-Bangladeshis.
picking on?
I never turned around and
ethnicity?
said what I do have.
What
Does it
Sabia
make a
said is we
difference?
already have
Again.
one, and you're looking into.
No, I said we
no.
have two and we're looking into more. You know, he say that.
That's
Mizan.
fine.
Okay,
You're
can-
looking.
can-
Exactly.
Then it's the
Listen,
same case.
brother.
Then
Let's
it's
listen
the
and let
same
me
case
respond.
for us.
Listen and
Ras,
respond.
one second.
Don't accuse us something.
No, that's you.
Sabir, look, this type of bantering does not win you votes. Trust me.
No,
Right? It's very simple. If you're saying we have got one candidate,
Yes.
okay? You're saying you have got
At
one
this
candidate
moment in
at
time.
this moment in time,
Yes.
right? Which this planning has been going, because what the vote
Yeah.
is saying, this planning has going on for some time. Am I right or wrong?
No, of course not.
Right?
But I
So
would
why
disagree. I would
why is both of the group is not looking into other communities?
No, we are.
They are. Well, I don't know about them, but we are.
Okay.
We are.
So if you are,
Nominations
that's
aren't closed yet.
that's the okay. Let me just take this call quickly.
Of course.
Hello, you're live on LB24.
Hi, yeah, I'm just calling. I'm a resident in Tower Hamlets. I just want to know, are all the people on the panel from Tower Hamlets?
I am born and
Are
raised.
you
I think,
all from Tower Hamlets?
I think we all live or work in Tower Hamlets.
I
Yes.
work in Tower Hamlet, but I'm not a candidate, so I don't think it applies to me.
So do you live in?
He didn't ask that. He just wanted to know if you live here.
I work in Tower Hamlets.
Okay.
You work in Tower Hamlets?
Yes.
Okay, where is it that you work?
I think that doesn't matter. But
She doesn't live in Tower Hamlets.
She doesn't live. She
doesn't live in Tower Hamlets.
And also she's not.
A candidate, so really, as a candidate, I think I could stand if I work in the
No,
borough.
I'm not talking about candidates. I'm talking about policies and politics in Tower Hamlets. How does the politics in Tower Hamlets?
Brother, she's actually. Right. Let me answer this question. She's actually representing from independent group. So she came as a representative. So, and she works in Tower Hamlet, and I think we just should honor that. Thank you.
I still don't understand unless she works in the council or in terms of
I think as I said, she's representative from independent group.
Tower Hamlets Council isn't the only employee in the whole borough, just to let you know.
No, I'm just saying, does she work in a charity? Does she work like what does she do? What is it?
I'm not. If I may add,
Do you have any
it's a
specific
bit. This
questions?
question's a bit personal. aren't they?
Do you have any specific
I'd be
questions?
slightly worried.
Sorry.
I can see two people from each party
Yeah.
coming in.
No, it's not each party. They are coming as a representative of that party.
The party's inter is based on its residents and the people within.
No, we actually.
No.
Sorry. Can I just ask? Yeah. We actually requested two representatives from each of the independent party, and that's what they have given. So.
And what I'm asking is how her work relates to which party is it? Aspire Independent, whatever party she's trying to speak.
How
does it?
Tower Hamlets Independent.
It's from Tower Hamlets Independence.
You seem a bit up. Yes, can the join out, Yvonne?
Can we just move on from the question because it's clearly irrelevant. Just don't worry. She doesn't live in the borough. I think 3 of us live in the borough. So.
And I don't see how that is relevant.
I work in the policies.
I work in the borough. I work with the women in the borough.
How does it relate to you with the party that you're talking about?
See, the difference between what your question and me is, I'm not here for myself. I don't do things to please myself. I see women in the borough suffer. I see Taham Independent Group provide an opportunity for these women. I don't claim to say I'm a woman, I represent a woman, but don't do anything about it. So the reason why,
or if you're going on equalities and diversity factor, then I don't see any candidates within the party that you're talking about actually represent, the community out there.
There's 5 women standing in the group and they represent different sector of the community. Maybe they don't represent you, but they just represent the different sector of the community. And we have 5 women standing.
It doesn't represent my sister, my mom, my neighbor. my gran.
You must not be from Tower Hamlets. You must be from some other different planet altogether.
You know, I'm just trying to think, like, which woman candidate is standing in my ward from your party?
Which ward are you?
What ward are you from?
Which ward?
Sorry?
You should know him. You know everybody in town. As you went Dornock in 2014, 2015.
Which ward are you from? That's what they're saying.
Which ward am I from?
Yeah.
I'm from Bow West.
Bow West.
Did you have candidates on Bow West?
We have got candidates in Bow West, yes.
We've got candidates in Bow West as well.
Okay. So what's your point? You seem a bit lost, my brother.
No.
Okay, but what bar are you from, sister?
Hang on, you're
speaking to me. Why is you switch? I'm from Tower Hamlets.
Right. Do you have any specific question, brother?
You represent the woman in your borough. Which you can relate to more because you're a resident there.
No. You don't have to be a resident to relate to women. You have to work with them to reflect their needs. There's a difference.
In Newham, I heard there's a massive,
Funny how the brother didn't know where I was from, but yet he knows I was from Newham. Amazing.
I think he just highlighted something about Newham.
He didn't say you were from there. He just
okay, thank you very much, Kola, for your
clearly we know where that call was from.
Right. We have almost running out of time, actually. I'd like to thank you all for coming and taking part in this conversation. I think our viewers did get some enlightenment. Before we close, actually, if I start from my right, if you can say something about your party or whom you're representing, do you think that in 2018 the candidate that you are supporting that will be able to win the election?
Okay, well, assalamu alaikum to you all. Again, my name is Razuddin and I'm representing the People's Alliance of Tower Hamlets from Bromley South. The reason the other side have mentioned that the race is between Ohid Ahmed and John Biggs. The race is between John Biggs and Rabina Khan. I don't think Ohid Ahmed is even in the same hemisphere, to be honest. Please vote for Rabina Khan. She's the clear choice. She can unite the party. She can unite Tower Hamlets as a whole. This brother mentioned about working with Conservatives, this, that and the other. Conservatives, Labour, Lib Dem, Green Party, they're all part of Tower Hamlets, brother. We need to work with everyone. But everyone doesn't seem to work with Ohid Ahmed for some weird reason. So who's at fault here? Is it the group or the individual? Obviously, there must be something wrong with the individual as the candidate. So please, May the 3rd, look out for the most competent candidate, and that is Rabina Khan. Thank you very much.
Assalamu everyone, I'm Zakaria Hussain. I think today clearly showed, there is the history that we need to forget, and it's about moving forward. I've stood as a prospective candidate in St Dunstan's to represent everybody, and based on the inaction of certain people within the community in these positions, I've stood out frustration. I think there's a new dawn that's come. I think Rabina Khan is the clear choice, as she was previously endorsed by the opposite group. She has the capability to actually unite people, and she's very competent, and if anything, we as a community should be very proud of her. I think there needs to be a hustings between Rabina Khan and Ohid Ahmed, and I think there needs to be policies and discussions around moving forward, and I think it will be very clear there's only one choice. This ain't flicking a coin. It's very clear to see, and I think in all honesty, it's about survival of the fittest. It's not about who you represent or what community you're from. This is about John Biggs and Rabina Khan, as he has always been in the near past. And I think moving forward, it will be Rabina Khan to unite everybody, to take us away from the mess that we're in at the moment and why we're suffering. People like ourselves, we're all young here, we've only got involved in politics because we feel something for the community. It's about the community being first. And for me, I can only comment on what I'm going to do. And I know for a fact, sitting councillors who are there, they need to be very mindful about the fact that they represent thousands of people. If you're not going to do your job, new blood is going to come in. And I think to move politics forward, we need the younger generation coming in who are happy to work with everybody to actually get policies through that are beneficial for everybody and not just for the minority. Thanks.
Assalamu alaikum.
I kept the lady for the last time.
That's fine, no problem. My name is Fazli Elahi. I am a prospective councillor candidate for the Weavers Ward area from the Timeless Independent Group. I'll be honest as sincere as I can. My advice would be judge Councillor Ohid Ahmed based on his record, based on his track delivery. I've mentioned before that he was a councillor since 2002. He's held cabinet member in various positions. We've seen the mess that Hamlets is in now, unfortunately due to the current administration, due to Mayor John Biggs. And I believe, and I sincerely believe that we need to move forward. We need to collect, we need to unite, and we need to all put our differences aside, and we need to kind of take out John Biggs in order to make to take Hamlets forward again, like it was 4, 5, 6 years ago. And it's not just about thinking about the past, but I believe you do need to have some mention of the past, because the past is what we achieved. Without what we achieved, we wouldn't be where we are today. Now, in regards to moving forward, I believe the past, the achievements, is somewhere it could be a guideline in regards to what we're hoping to achieve in the future. Just to give you some sort of scope in regards to what we're hoping to achieve in the future. Councillor Ohid Ahmed is fit for mayor. He's as I mentioned, he's a deputy mayor before. He's been a councillor candidate since 2002, unlike others who I think only done a term or just over. Now, and I do sincerely believe that Ohid Ahmed is it's of Ohid Ahmed and Mayor John Biggs. And ultimately, I don't see any. I hope Rubina Khan. I wish her well. As I've mentioned to everyone here before, and I can say this publicly as well. I've helped Rubina Khan before. I know her very well, and I've campaigned for her before, so I've nothing against it. It's just politically now, and I feel as if she's made wrong decisions by again making alliances with opposition parties who have worked tirelessly, effortlessly in order to put the community where it is now, and to get Mayor John Biggs in charge. All I can say is, Ohid Ahmed, he's done it before, and he will do it again with the same team. And we are going to look after all sections of the community, and that's evident from our faith grant, from our burial grant, which has been recently opened, in regards to our Mayor's University grants, which went out to all students in Tower Hamlets that were attending university, £1,500. I can go on and on, but again, these policies, free home care for every business, that's something we as a group achieved, and that's something we're hoping to achieve and expand upon as well. We can only do that with your support. If you make Ohid Ahmed mayor in 3rd of May 2018, then I can give you my word, he will try his best. I, as a councillor candidate for the Weavers Ward, prospective councillor candidate, will do my best as well. Again, I've been born and raised in Tower Hamlets. I've worked in Weavers area for a while, and all I can say, if you believe I'm the right person for your area, and if you believe Ohid Ahmed as well as my team are the right people to represent you guys, please do come out and support for us, and hopefully make Tower Hamlets great again.
Trump. Sabia,
I'm Sabia Kamali. The reason why I've decided to support Ohid Bai's team is because there's a team behind him. It's not individual. There's 5 amazing, talented women, not just one, that who represent the whole community. We talk about young blood. We talk about frustration. That's what happens. Young blood frustration. That's what Rubina did. Because she wasn't happy with the results, she walked out. And that's the danger of people being frustrated. They don't serve the community need. They're more focused on their individual needs. So my request to the community would be, vote for the team on the track record, on delivery, on loyalty, because that's what the community needs, a loyal and a principled person, not a person that would move away, affiliate themselves to any party just to get what they need. So I think the most important thing is, there's a team here, and the team is still there. Ohid Bai stayed with the team. He didn't create his own party. He actually respected what the community wanted. So, yeah.
Thank you, Sabia. As you can see, there's a lot of pride in our politics in Tower Hamlets. Right? Everything is so intertwined, and we can't let go of our past, our present. There's a lot of things happening in Tower Hamlets. This is one of the first episode we are running. We will be inviting members from other parties on our next episode. Until then, we wish you all the best to both of the parties and the viewers. Assalamu alaikum.
Assalamu alaikum.